Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom. We begin with words of our own tradition of Hanukkah, Ma'otzor, sung for us in person, finally, with our choir. So, woo! We can applaud now. For the rest of the service we want, but right now we're going to do it. And please, I encourage you to join along. That was so beautiful. And especially, I don't know how many of you, either at home or here in the sanctuary, I mean, it means nothing to say Rock of Ages. It has no Hanukkah image, but don't you just feel the light with it? You hear that. So thank you to our magnificent choir, and to Gabriel, and to Emma, and to Sean, our professional musicians. Our choir is going to lift up the light of this Hanukkah, and we are so grateful to you for helping us learn how to sing as a congregation again in this post-COVID world. I'm so grateful to my colleagues and friends and partners, Rabbi Dana Benson, Jacob Glickman, who has a wonderful title he'd love to talk to you about. We're grateful to Jamie, and of course to Louie, and to Kim, who have welcomed us here. And we're going to do it at the start and not at the end. We're going to say a huge thank you to Jose and the rest of the facilities team. If you see them at any point, really say thank you, the heart and the soul of Temple Beth Am. And I'm Rabbi Ruth Slotnick. And we also have one more voice, one more statement of gratitude to make on this Shabbat Hanukkah. And it's a statement we make each week because the great 20th century teacher, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, suggests that the only way to approach prayer is to approach it from a stance of gratitude. And so it is with profound gratitude that we acknowledge that this Shabbat gathering is happening on coastal Salish land, specifically of the Duwamish tribe. And in addition to gratitude, we do the other great Jewish sacred acts of tzedakah. So we give monthly of learning and again of also adding our indigenous neighbors to our prayers. With that said, it is time to welcome one another. It is time to see like the Shamish light, the light of of Hanukkah in each other. So first we're going to say to our friends, because I know I've had several people tell me this week, I wish I could be there. So let's turn to that camera over there. And let's begin by saying two things this week. We're going to say the first thing is Chag Urim Sameach, which means Happy Hanukkah in Hebrew. Chag Urim Sameach. And then just shout out Shabbat Shalom, however you'd like to. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And then I would invite you to turn to those around you. Maybe you even, it's so wonderful to be, like maybe you want to go over to the choir loft and say Shabbat Shalom. Let's take a moment just to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone here.
Shabbat Shalom, elders, Jenna, peace. It's so nice that you're all here. Yeah, wave. I know.
I don't know about you. I winked. Aw, that was Shabbat Shalom wink. Okay, Hazel. I don't know about you, but getting to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone, that is all the candlelight I need for this evening. However, we have a lot more candles to light. And so it's my honor and pleasure this wonderful Shabbat evening to actually get to invite our professional musicians, Sean Weaver, Andy Stoller, Emma Howeiler, yes, Howeiler, and Taryn Weber, as well as Gabriel. Come on up and Sean Weaver in spirit. You're right there, but we're gonna let you sit over there, so it's kind of hard to get over here. But it's a wonderful honor to invite all of you to help us in lighting the Hanukkah candles, not the Shabbat candles, the Hanukkah candles tonight. Come on over and you can all hold that together. You can all hold it if you want. Yeah, unless you all want to, hold it. And then we're all going to help join in the blessings together. You can find them on the screen in a moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. And it is such a blessing to have these musicians, and the reason we wanted them to come up here and help light the Hanukkah candles is because you add that light, that fire, that warmth with the music that you're able to help our whole community, our choir bring. Thank you all so much for creating what I feel is a modern day miracle, to be able to have us all here singing together in unison, in harmony, whatever we're doing at that particular moment, but all joining together. And so let's say our blessing over the miracles of this time as we honor the miracles of this moment together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu ve'imotenu vayamim hahem bazman hazer. Happy Hanukkah! Hagurim Sameach. Thank you all so much. Thank you. It's an honor. Give Sean a hug for us, too.
And so we light our Hanukkah candles first because that's the last act we do before we light our Shabbat candles. And to do so, I want to invite back from across the pond, as they say in England, 2 long-term members who at the end of this month will be celebrating 55 years of wedded bliss together. Right, Roger? It was all bliss. So Roger and Carol Bergson, welcome home. We're so glad you're here. And Roger and Carol will be lighting the candles. And I shared with them how you've been gone since before October 7th, but that with the recognition that everything in the world changed after October 7th, and for we members of Am Yisrael, of the people of Israel, we know that we will always keep a light lit until every single hostage comes home. And so beginning on October 7th, we lit not 2, but 3 candles on Shabbat. And so we invite you, you know what, you'll do the reading after if you don't mind reading, lighting first, and we'll do the blessings over.
And as our Shabbat candles are lit, we're going to join in the blessing together, but we're going to use the same melody we just used for the other 2 blessings, our special melody for Hanukkah, as we offer that blessing again over our lights, over this flame that brings us into Shabbat. Bring that light in. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And if you'd like to read those first 2.
Yes. As these Shabbat candles give us light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take walks, to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and into our lives.
Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I later on, I'm going to ask you the secret to 55 years together. But for now, we'll just say, you know, may you in this 55th year feel as you did as newlyweds. And in the Jewish tradition, you put a little honey on the challah on Shabbat to make Shabbat even sweeter. And we hope only sweet things.
Thank you.
Amen. And so the sweetness of being able to share that kind of love and time together is just another reminder of the special miracles that are part of how we celebrate Hanukkah and experience Hanukkah. And so I want you to join together for now a song called Al Hanisim. We'll have the slide with the lyrics once again. And I need help. Who's got a shaker in the crowd?
Oh, I do.
There we go. Thank you. Awesome. We're going to need you to be ready with those. You ready? Okay, I hear the readiness. I hear the readiness. So let's do it, band. Let's have some Al Hanisim. Al Hanisim ve'al haporkan ve'al hakorkot ve'al hagvurot ve'al hamizrahot ve'alat el avotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Al Hanisim ve'al haporkan במותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הבורגן, ועל הגבורות, ועל התשובות, ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על הניסים ועל הבורגן, ועל הגבורות, ועל התשובות, ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. בימים ההם בזמן הזה. בימים ההם בזמן הזה. And we continue now. You feel warmed up a little bit now? Yeah, a little bit warm. Wonderful. We continue with the words of Lecha Dodi, our Shabbat prayer, as we welcome that Sabbath bride in. Join with us on page 20 or on the slides. Awesome.
Dodi likat kala yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likat kala yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai had ושמו לשם ותפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה 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 כדי שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה 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 כדי שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה, הראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורק אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה. אורי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה יללה יללה יללה, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. And so we move into a different melody this Shabbat. A beautiful melody. A melody I hope you all know. You'll recognize it momentarily, I promise. Because it's a Hanukkah melody that so many of us have sung, and so many of us get to sing this time of year. But it's nice to hear it be pretty first, before we jump into it. And so we're grateful to Emma for sharing this beautiful melody of it. as we join together in the sacred melody of Hanukkah, O Hanukkah. Oi
Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Sevivon to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they've shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they've shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
All right, let's try some Yiddish. Oi Hanukkah, oi Hanukkah, oi Yorn Zepfashene, oi Lustika, a Freilicher, ein Neuen Sonnensäune. Alle Nacht in Dredelach spielt still in mir. Zu den heißen Latkes es Sonne schien. Singt der, singt Kinder, die geliebte Lechon. Singt all Hanissim, Leut Gott Vater den Nissim, gib Herr tatsinnig Horn. Singt all Hanissim, Leut Gott Vater den Nissim, gib Herr tatsinnig Horn. All right, one more time in English. Oi Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Sevivon to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. And we continue now with our call to worship. And I'm meaning this seriously this time, since I did give you a little silliness before, but truly, it's wonderful to hear your voices, to hear people singing together, to watch people dancing and playing. That's the light of Hanukkah. And so to acknowledge that togetherness that we have in this moment, we share the words of Baruch Hu, our call to worship, a moment of acknowledging we are here in this space together. Please rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Barechu et Adonai, Hamevora
seated. Such an interesting time to be Jewish these days. And I know that for many of us in the past few months, and I know for many of our brothers and sisters and siblings across the world, we've been swept up with a confluence of big mixed feelings about all the events going on in the world. And so I invite you to take a second and think about if you had the opportunity to deliver one message to all the Jewish people at this time, what would it be? One message for all the Jewish people. Well, momentarily, maybe just take a second and really maybe close our eyes and just think about if we really had access to deliver a message that everyone of the Jewish people could hear, what would it be? What words could bring comfort at this time? What words would lead us to a greater sense of unity, of solidarity, of also compassion and peace, with the rightful sense of hope for the future, of justice, of righteousness, and of peace? And we are given words in our tradition that we are meant to say all the time, words that are meant for all the Jewish people to hear. Listen, Israel. And so as we rise for the Shema, which we can find on page 34 and 35, I invite you to derive whatever comfort and whatever direction you can from these words, knowing that these are the watchwords of our faith, these words that Jews around the world tonight and at various other times will be saying together. So please rise as we join together for the Shema. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated. We continue now with the words of our faith of love in action through the Ve'ahavta. We continue on page 36, led by Taran.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך וקשוקבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם באמת.
Thank you so much, Tarn. And so we continue, if you'd like, on page 364, if you want to use the book. It'll also be up on the screen with another wonderful Hanukkah song, one that feels important to sing from the time after the Shema, before we move into Micha Mocha, a song of a feeling of redemption, and even reminds us of the word Shema. It's right there in the song. We sing together with the help of our choir. Thank you so much, Gabriel, and choir and musicians, as we sing together, all of us together. Mi Yimalel. It to being like the most close to a Christmas carol that I think we have as far as our songs go for Hanukkah, because it gives us a little bit of that sense of the interplay of different voices, and I just love that so much. And we move now to the words of Micha Mocha, that sense of joy, redemption, and freedom that we hope for as we sing these prayers together. If you would like to join in the prayer book, it's on page 40. And I encourage you, we've already been doing some high energy stuff. Rabbi Ruth's going to help out here, it looks like. You volunteered yourself out. We need help. Dance. I think we need some time for doing some Micha Mocha dancing. Let's hear it, page 40, Micha Mocha.
Micha Mocha,
for dancing in your seats and doing some shakers.
And so we turn now to the Amidah, our standing prayer. It said this is the prayer where we roll up our sleeves, and whether you choose to use the script of our ancestors or the words of your own heart, it's our opportunity to stand face to face with the divine as we understand it and give gratitude for being able to be here in this moment of light together. The Amidah is on page 46.
Please rise in body or spirit.
And, yeah, what she said.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up our lips that our mouths may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocher Hasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevi ge'ula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir hasurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Nichamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elov, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah le'achayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
I invite everyone to take a moment and point to yourself. Not one person in this room is pointing like this. Everyone is pointing like this. Something to think about. And I know that I just want to name how amazing it is that we in our tradition have a space in our service to really just pray from this place. This place that we may really be inhabiting in our bodies, right? It's deep in our heart space. And so when you take a moment and just as we go into our Tefillat Halev, our prayer of the heart, remember that at the end of a long week where we've been busy doing our daily chores with our job and work and families, that we get a chance and space just to be in that place of stillness that exists within ourselves, and that we can exist there for all of Shabbat. And let our prayer be this evening that we can find that place in this moment, that we can also exist there for the rest of this 25-hour period and lead from there as we re-enter our week this following week. So take a moment for Tefillat Halev, prayer of your heart, a moment of silence, and when you are ready, you may be seated.
Saki, ocho candelas para mí. Añuca linda, Saki, ocho candelas para mí. Oh, candalita, dos candalitas, tres candalitas, cuatro candalitas, cinco candalitas, seis candalitas, siete candalitas, ocho candelas para mí. Ay, ay, ay. Muchas fiestas por hacer, con alegría sin placer. Muchas fiestas por hacer, con alegría sin placer. Oh, una candalita, dos candalitas, tres candalitas, cuatro candalitas, cinco candalitas, seis candalitas, siete candalitas, ocho candelas para mí. Ay, ay, ay. Los pastelitos por comer, con alegría sin haber. Los pastelitos por comer, con alegría sin haber. Oh, una candalita, dos candalitas, tres candalitas, cuatro candalitas, cinco candalitas, seis candalitas, siete candalitas, ocho candelas para mí, ocho candelas para mí, ocho candelas para mí, ocho candelas para mí.
So I'm sure many of you have heard about the great argument that was had many, many, many thousands of years ago, where Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel had an argument. Beit Shammai said you should light 8 candles on the first night and take one away every day. And Beit Hillel said, no, you light 1 candle and you increase. And of course, we know, we see it now, we increase. Actually, there's a wonderful graphic out that says you add candles as if you're reading from Hebrew. So you add candles from right to left. Right? Is that right? No. You add candles from left to right like you are reading English, but you light candles from right to left. So just a little, we'll talk about that afterwards. And this is why they don't let me deal with the details at the synagogue. Right here is why. But the reason why I share that actually is because I think it speaks so much about what our tradition says. And you know, what Rabbi Yitz Greenberg has taught is that what Hanukkah teaches about who the Jewish people really are is that when we are in darkness, we don't curse the darkness. We bring in the light. And we don't just bring in the light, we allow the light to expand. And I believe one of the ways we do that is by coming together in prayer, in learning, in song. Thank you to our beautiful choir. And we know that no matter what wounds that you may be carrying within you as you walk through the sanctuary, maybe of your own personal story, maybe you're feeling the pain of being part of the Jewish people this week, maybe you are feeling pain for the human family this week. Whoever it is, we believe that by coming together and sharing our pain and sharing our prayers for healing, we bring a sense of shalom, a sense of wholeness and peace. So I invite you to share now the name of anyone that you'd like to add to these prayers for a sense of rifuat shalem, a full healing. With everyone that we named out loud, for all those who are in pain and in need of healing, we continue with our Mishaberach L'Cholim, our prayer for healing, page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May each and everyone know a full and speedy healing of body and soul. Amen. And so just to let you know, the Hanukkah fun is not over. We're going to actually move into our final prayers. And then we hope you're here to stay for our Hanukkah festive potluck. Even if you didn't bring something, please stay. So we thought that instead we'd just add more music, because that's really why everyone comes to Friday night services anyway. And that instead of a teaching, I might share, in my family, Rich can tell you, I am known for introducing the question of the evening. When our extended family gets together, I love when, you won't be surprised to hear, I love when the whole family talks and has the same conversation. And so I learned it from a friend of mine, and we have a question for the evening. So I offer you this Hanukkah question for the evening. And I want to just pick up on that beautiful teaching from Rabbi Hillel that we always increase the light. And you've heard, of course, that each of us has a spark of the divine within us. And that maybe not only do we bring in the light, that maybe we'll be like the shamash, the candle that helps ignite light in other people. And at this moment, when we're coming to our concluding prayers, when we always come to a moment of memory, I feel I need to mention someone who helped bring so much light into the world and always, always saw the light in other people. The world lost a great teacher this week, Rabbi David Ellenson of blessed memory, who was the Chancellor Emeritus of Rabbi Dana and mine and Rabbi Jason's and every rabbi that has served Temple Beth Am, our seminary. And he most recently was at Brandeis University. But Rabbi David Ellenson was an incredible scholar who helped us understand how we moved into the modern world as a Jewish people. But more than an incredible scholar, what everybody talks about is what a mensch he was. For some reason, he didn't like water, so he had a ubiquitous can of Diet Coke with him at all times. And he really, he embodied Menschlichkeit. He embodied helping other people feel so good about themselves that they realize they have a special light to share. And I'll be actually doing a shiur or a teaching in Rabbi Ellenson's memory tomorrow during Saturday morning services. But there's one quotation that Rabbi Ellenson said that I love, that I thought could be the pinpoint, the centerpiece of our question for the evening today. Rabbi David Ellenson said, "Act like the type of person God would choose as a friend." Act like the type of person God would choose as a friend. That's what Rabbi Ellenson did. And I'd like for the question of the evening for you to think about, maybe you want to share at your dinner table, is who acts like a person that God would want to befriend in your life? Who helps you see the light in other people? Let's maybe share that story as we share the light of Hanukkah, as well as the light of memory, as we shift now to the mourner's Kaddish. And we remember our beloved teacher, Rabbi David Ellenson, Chancellor Emeritus of Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, as well as thinking about his family, Rabbi Jacqueline Koch Ellenson, and his children, Ruth, Rabbi Micah, Nomi, and Rafi and Hannah, both of whom are rabbinic students in various seminaries. We are also remembering on this Shabbat Chanukah someone who helped keep the light of this Beit Am, this house of our people, alive for so many years and who we miss dearly. Henry Butler, who we are in the period of Shiva for. Actually, we are now beginning Shilashim. He was the husband of, he was the past president of Temple Beth Am and the husband of another past president, Olga, of blessed memory, the father of Ron and Stephen, the father-in-law, or as we said at the funeral, the father-in-love of Deborah and Karen, and the grandfather to Eric and Gil. And we are also remembering in the period of Shilashim, Georgia Goodmanson, mother of Craig, mother-in-law of Andrea, and grandmother of Zoe, Hannah, and Abigail. We're also remembering at this time these loved ones whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, falls at this time. Honey Barron, Mildred Baum, Rini Better, Fritzy Belaski, George Bernard, Ace Besman, Jay Bloom, David Bodansky, Karen Brownstein, Eleanor Bush, Eleanor Christensen, Ann Clone, Kathleen Collins, Goldie Cohn, J.D. Devon, Risa Eager, Meyer Epstein, Gladys Frydenrich, Myron Freed, Ralph Geiger, Ruth Glauber, Myron Gordon, Morris Greenblatt, Lenore Hadley, Cecile Hoffman, Fila Jacobitz Fenstmarker, Rosie Kaplan, Ira Karp, Alan Lakey, Robert Levitch, Jerome Lorber, Ralph Makoff, Abraham Marks, John Bennett McDonald, Mandel Miller, Pepper Mintz, Miriam Nacht, Kathy Parness, Joseph Paweluk, Elias Raj Veller, Ruth Raj Veller, Nathan Rosenfeld, Marty Rosenfeld, Julie Ruth, Ula Richter, Bruce Schwartz, Harold Schwartz, Julie Shapir, Mary Schuster, Sandra Siegel, Louis Siegel, Sarah Siegel, Stephen Tanner, Flory Wagner, Samuel Warstager, Clara Wiener, Ann Werb, Alex Zedek, Zeisel Zlatkis. I also invite you to say the name of anyone that you're thinking now. And of course, we mourn all the deaths of innocents who are caught in the crossfire of war, as well as thinking about those in the land of our ancestors. If you've lost a loved one in the last week or the last 1 month, please rise. And if you've lost a loved one in the last year, please rise. And if you're here remembering a yard site, please rise. And as one community, let's rise in body or spirit to stand in solidarity with the mourners among us as we continue with the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlik malkutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, Bagala ubizman kari v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam almei almaya, yip barak v'yishtabach v'yip pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar v'yit haleh v'yit halal shmei dekudasha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru, amen. Zikronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing, amen. Please be seated. And I usually when we do the potlucks, we don't do the simcha moments, but we thought in the spirit of Hanukkah, where we spread our light and we share our joy, couldn't we use hearing the joy from other people a little bit? So I would love to begin with the Bergsons, because as folks who have been at services here, it's not that we take attendance, we don't, but I happen to know that you haven't been in Seattle. Know that I am addicted to an Instagram video. It's Meet Cute New York, and they stop every kind of couple who's there, and they ask them, what is the secret of X number of years together? So I'm a little nervous asking Roger this, but I'm gonna say, Roger and Carol, what's the secret of 55 years together?
Being an arranged marriage.
You're gonna have to ask Carol about that at dinner.
And we don't think of it as 55 years, we think of it as 2 years more than forever.
Well, what we want to say to you, is that if you double how long you've been married, you will be married for 110 years, which is 10 years shy of a perfect life. So we wish you at least 65 more years of married bliss. Any other simchas to share today? Really, happy anniversary, and thank you for letting us share. Yes?
So it is our wedding anniversary in 2 weeks, and we are going on our honeymoon finally.
Oh, wonderful. And what wedding anniversary is it for you? What number?
What is it? It's what, 2?
So what's the secret to 2 years of married bliss?
We like each other a lot.
That's great. Hazel, do you have a simcha to share?
My birthday's in 6 days.
Oh, wonderful. So we say Yom Huledet Sameach. Please share your name.
My name is Emily, and I've been working on building a debate team at Ingram, and my kids went to their first tournament this weekend, and they did okay, which is incredible for their first tournament, and I'm so proud of them.
That's so wonderful, and such a Jewish simcha to be happy, So any other joys? And if you'll just share your name, please, and then what your joy
Hi,
is.
my name is Eddie Rigotti. I am a music teacher, and this Sunday with my students, I teach guitar. We're going to play Imagine to feel a little bit more relieved with peace in the world.
Oh, Eddie, that sounds great, and I think that's a Hanukkah gift you need to give to your synagogue community, too. Kelly, did you want to say something? Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's a perfect way to end, I think, on this idea of imagining a world at peace, except how can I not make the long trek down? Please share your name.
My name is Charlotte
Yeah.
Greenberg.
Yes.
And my simcha for this week is on Wednesday. I had a soccer game and we won 5-0.
Woo! And that's what I love about the simcha moment is we have simcha's joys, large and small, though I would say a shutout 5-0 is not small at all. So yasher koach.
And may your good wins may also go to the Kraken. May they also eventually get a good win. Sorry, I had to say. they've been on a losing streak. Anyway.
Oh.
It's a miracle on ice. Okay. So we continue now with our Kiddush and Motzi as a community. And I want to say a big thank you to Rabbi Ruth, to Jacob, to Emma, to Andy, to Sean, to Taryn, to the whole choir, to Jose, who makes this all possible, to Jamie.
Prayer books back.
Yes, and to do a nice thing for two people I would love to thank for their Shamashim and greeting, Kim and Louie. We thank you so much, and a way we can show them our love is by taking the prayer books back to the front at the end of the service. And so we continue on page 5 as we sanctify Shabbat through our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, Ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila v'mikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu bachartam, Ve'otanu kidashtam mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. And thank you to Gabriel. I forgot to mention you, and for all of our staff who's helping out tonight as well.
So we're going to do a couple of things. We're not quite done, even though, but we are going to bless the challah, and then we're going to do a couple of songs so that we leave here with our spirits elevated. But first, if you're comfortable doing it, we invite you to do this Beth Am style, which is to put your arm around someone who has their arm around someone who has their arm around someone who is holding on to the, as we say, and you might want to stand, you might want to stay seated, whatever you want to do, just join me in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'te'avon.
We turn our eyes back up to the slide. Oh.
Yeah, so we're about to sing a really amazing, phenomenal song by Peter, Paul, and Mary, Light One Candle. But before we do so, I want to share a story that really tags along well with this song, and also because the kitchen needs about 5 more minutes. So 2 birds, 1 stone. I want to bring us to a remote town of Bozeman, Montana. 1994, I see someone here knows at least the town, if not the story I'm about to share. And we're going to visit the house of little Isaac, who was about 6 years old at the time. And little Isaac had just finished lighting the Chanukiah with his family, and they put it in the window, as we traditionally do. And he's, you can imagine him looking at it as he's starting to fall asleep. The candles, melting down, starting to drip, and the wax maybe dripping onto something that he didn't want. Whatever, it's candles. They do their thing. And that night, as he's in his bed asleep, a brick was thrown through his window, right? A brick was thrown through his window, and obviously he was really shooken up by it. His parents were shaken up. So they spoke to the rabbi the next day. Rabbi was also understandably shaken up. This is Bozeman, Montana we're talking about here, you know, and not a big Jewish community at all, and certainly not a feeling of camaraderie or support that, and I can imagine feeling really alone as a Jewish family, especially having that happen to you. Well, the next day, the rabbi happened to be going to an interfaith meeting with a lot of other religious leaders from the town, where he shared this tragedy that happened, and the rabbi shared with almost this like, I don't know what to do, and the unanimous decision was something along the lines of, we got this, Rabbi. So those faith leaders went back to their communities, and they shared with their communities what happened to little Isaac. And there was newspaper ads being publicized, and there was this movement in the town. And by the end of Hanukkah that year, nearly every single house in Bozeman, Montana, had a Hanukkah in its window. And this story, every time even just in this moment, every time I think about it, every time I share it, it just fills me up with this hope, right? This hope and this light. Especially during these dark hours, of like, it is possible, and this idea of just camaraderie and neighborhood and solidarity is really possible if we take a moment and maybe, I think the message of that is the people of Bozeman may not be Jewish, but they were able to take a second and step out of their own experience and really just listen and hear and hold the pain of what happened to this family. And so we can take a lot and we can find a sense of peace within that story for us as Jews, and we can even take a lesson from that as well. And so with that, we're going to sing Light One Candle, a classic, amazing song of hope and of justice and righteousness by our good friends Peter, Paul, and Mary. Hopefully they're ready for us. Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with plagues that their light didn't die. And light one candle for the pain they endured when right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible suffering justice and freedom demand. And light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep it alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Shabbat Shalom, Hag Sameach.
Shabbat Shalom.
Amen.